Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to part two of how to start a recruitment agency. Now, this video isn't going to be filled with too much information in terms of how you get started. However, it's very important. It's going to save you a lot of headache and time. I see people make the same mistakes over and over. So if you watch this video and go through it, probably going to be about 10 or so minutes. Watch it all, take some notes. It's going to be the common mistakes people make, and it can be the difference between making your money in the first month or 6 months later. So it's really important. Simple common mistakes that most people make, and it's fine to make mistakes, but if you're aware of them before you make them, it'll give you an advantage. So go through this. It's going to be a few helpful resources that we have. So I'm going to talk about a few things. My website, Ltd, is a good website. I have a lot of email templates on there that you can copy. There's live code calls, so you know exactly what to say. My website, cadsmoney.com, you can book a one-to-one session with me on there, half an hour or an hour. It's very affordable. You can just either work with me for a few weeks. I'll show you exactly how to set up an agency, or just answer your questions as you go. You might have an established agency as well that you just might want some techniques from. So LinkedIn, my LinkedIn account is banned at the moment. It's banned again. I don't know why. Maybe because I've got tons of accounts. I'm going to be making a Telegram as well. Also, in the link in the description, there's going to be the full playlist. So if you're seeing this randomly, you can see the other videos from there. So hope that helps. All the links of these will be in the description as well. So the first mistake, and I talk about it non-stop, I sound like a broken record, would be people pick the wrong niche. Now, the wrong niche, as in the wrong sector, the wrong job title, they brand their agency a bit different in terms of that. Now, there's a link at the top to another video going more in depth in this, so go ahead and watch that as well. Now, the main point I want to highlight is companies will only pay you money if they can't find that particular skill set 99% of the time. There are some companies that just can't be bothered to recruit, and they have the budget, they have the finances, and they will just pay agencies to find that person, or they want to just buy the best person on the market essentially with the money they have. So if you've got no trouble finding a receptionist, but you want the best receptionist out there, so just use 5 recruitment agencies and then pick the best one out of everyone. So you just kind of add to the candidate pool with that. Yeah. So the main thing is when you're picking your niche, you've got 2 or 3 options. You can go down where there's a skill shortage. Think of developers. In the UK, drivers are a shortage. However, they're hard to find. So the disadvantage is you're going to make placements, once a month, once every 3 months. However, the fees are high. So if you're recruiting, let's say, director level, or let's say doctors, you might make a placement every 3 months, but your placement fee is going to be 18,000. Yeah. So I don't know if that's going to be something you're looking at. That's more part time, I would say, and I would work my way up to that rather than starting with that. However, if you're picking a sector like developers, something to do with IT, some finance positions, majority of those roles are going to be hard to find anyway. So you're going to be sitting on LinkedIn talking to a lot of people. The other one is the high volume. So this is the easier sector. So this is the part like you post an advert, you get 60 applicants. So think of warehouse operatives, people that work in warehouse, general labour, customer service, admin staff. You post an advert, you're going to get like 60 to 200 applicants. And depending on your region where you are. The only disadvantage is companies don't have trouble to recruit these people. And if you're setting up your agency like that, chances are that you'll find it hard to win the clients. On this part, it's easy to win the clients because they're just desperate. On this part, it's harder to win the clients. But on this, it's easier to win the, how can I put it? The candidates are easier on this part. Candidates are harder here, if that makes sense. Yeah. Also, this market is, you fall into the temp market as well. So the temporary staffing can be. If you're going down that route, this is probably where you're going to be your bread and butter, unless you go down the contract. However, the ideal situation is you find the middle ground here. So you kind of find the companies can't find the candidates, but you can. So how do you find the ideal niche is the question. So it comes with experience. I mean, I can tell you, I can look at a sector and tell you for sure, look, that's going to do really well, or companies don't struggle. What you can do is, if there's not many applicants, companies will use agencies. So put yourself in the business owner's shoes or the client's shoes. You need a HR manager, and you've put adverts out for 3 months and no one with that skill set comes up. You're desperate, you need to fill that position because you as the CEO are doing that job, and you can't do two jobs at once, so you need to get someone in quickly, but you need someone good. Yeah, your only option is to pay a recruitment agency, because what you're doing, posting adverts, and be honest, 90% of companies, all they do is post adverts, and if they're not a respected brand or well-known company, most people won't apply to them as well. So it's hard to attract good quality applicants. Yeah, so you want it so you can find them, but companies can't. I hope that helps. That's really important. Sorry to waffle on. Another mistake that people make is they stop business development, and it's natural people to stop business development. What they do is they start their agency, and this isn't a wrong thing. It's just not as efficient. Yeah, and it comes with experience. So what people do, they start their agency, they send loads of emails, they make loads of calls, and then they pick up a few clients, and then they stop business development. You always have to make time for it. You always need a funnel of clients coming into the market, because one month you might contact a really good company, they say no or don't get back to you. The next month they're going to come to you and say, actually, we do need help. So if you hadn't have contacted them the next month, you would not have won their business. That could potentially be an account that brings you 30,000, 50,000 pounds per year in revenue. That would be the difference between your agency being a success and not. There's loads of variables to it. It's a big topic, but in a nutshell, don't stop business development. Yeah, you just don't want to win a few clients, because what you're going to do at the start, the first 3 months, is get loads of clients on board, work out which ones are, because some clients are going to give you really hard positions that have been in the market for about a year. No one can fill it, so they say yes to everyone, hoping someone will. Yeah, because I've contacted companies before, and then afterwards I'm like, how long has this job been on? They said 2 years. They've been looking for that skill set. So it, any agency calls them, they'll say, yeah, try and find it. So you're not going to make any money there. The money is in the quality of clients, not the amount of clients, not the fees you negotiate. It's the quality of clients. How quickly can you turn that job into revenue, rather than, oh, I've got 50 jobs on, because you could have 8 jobs and be making £20,000 per month. I could have 100 jobs and be making two or nothing. So it doesn't matter. You're going to sift through. So you're going to get on 10 clients. 8 of them are going to be shit, or 6 of them are going to fill the position. 2 of them ain't going to be as good. And then 2 that remain are going to be the ones that you make money from every month. So get as much as you can on. Never stop. And also what people do is, this will happen. You get negotiated down on your first few clients. You get bad terms in place. It's happened to everyone, so don't worry. You can always get rid of clients. You can stop working with them the same way they can with us. Some will stop replying to you, some will fill the position, etc. Yeah? So when you start off, you're going to do 100% business development. All your day is going to be business development. After that, you're going to have a few clients. You're going to move to about 80%. So, just the morning and a bit of the afternoon, you'll do business development. And then the rest, you'll look for candidates, etc. Or you'll move to, you've got enough clients, but I still want to just send 5 emails a day, follow up on a Wednesday, something like that. You'll build a strategy around that. And the other thing is, before you hit the market, you want to start familiarizing yourself with candidates, whether that's going to be connecting with them on LinkedIn and just sending them a message. Are you open to new opportunities? I recruit in the space you're in. We're always looking for your skill set, etc. You can put adverts out, but what you don't want to do is win a client and then you're like, oh damn, how do I get candidates now? So if you had, let's say, even a small amount, 200 people on your LinkedIn, or you had 15 CVs, you'll have some knowledge, or a client will ask you, what type of candidates do you have? You can say, look, I can just look through some now. Oh, we've got this person in this area, etc. So looking at that is good. Now we do have an advantage. We do have LinkedIn we can quickly contact people on, but that takes time. You can only send a certain amount of connections out. So if you say, look, I'm going to start recruiting for doctors, I'm going to send, I'm launching my agency in a few weeks. I'm going to start to send some LinkedIn messages now, start to get the ball rolling, talk to some candidates, see what they think, send some emails, put some adverts out and see what happens. You slowly but surely, over time, your money is going to be made from database, your own personal database. Nobody else in the world will have the same database as you. You will have an advantage over the whole market if you have a good database, if you've got candidates. Over time, when you get to like a year or two, you'll get a job, and from memory, you'll remember a person you spoke to a few months back. If you're anything like me, anyway. And then you call them up and you say, "Look, we've got a position for a doctor. I know you said you wanted £80,000 and you wanted to, only work 3 days a week. This company will provide that. Are you still looking? Would you be interested in a chat with them, etc." That's how you really, really, make quick money, rather than all, I've got a job now and I've got to put some adverts and I've got to headhunt. So over time, you might not see the revenue straight away, but this is the point where you actually do that, yeah. Reading CVs, learning about the market. So you're going to find that certain regions of the country are going to be, more profitable than others. Certain job titles, you're going to learn the sector as well. Um, re- Reading the CVs, especially in the temp market, is going to be an advantage. So if you post an advert for a warehouse operative and you get 30 CVs and 7 of them have the same company they've just worked at, yeah, you're sort of in a know-how without talking to the candidate. You can kind of look at their CV and say, all right, that company definitely uses agents, or agencies to help them recruit. So I'm going to contact them. Yeah. Obviously, you don't have to even talk to the candidate. It's called CV stripping. So you look through the CVs and you say, okay, that company uses agencies because this person is clearly a temporary worker. It will say on their CV sometimes. So always look at more. The more CVs you look at, the better. The other thing, obviously, I'm not going to start giving financial advice, because I'm not a financial advisor. But some people overspend on their agency. You don't have to. Some people have come to me and said, "Look, I've spent £6,000 on the website." I'm like, "Wow," because it wants to have this feature and that feature. You don't need to. You put pressure on your company's finances very early on as well. If you've got the money, fine, spend it. If you want to, if you want a specific thing, yeah, cool. But you don't need a massive budget. You can budget accordingly. I think the upfront cost at first isn't the major thing. I think the running cost. So don't buy the job board straight away. So don't spend on CV Library, Total Jobs, or anything like that. Avoid anything that costs you monthly, especially if it's going to be, because you might think, oh, that's £250. Some things like insurance are essential, but if you spend £250, actually that's one placement a year. So you're one placement down. So if you make one placement, that won't actually be any revenue. Obviously, the goal is to make money, learn the process, make the money, and then reinvest it. So you strengthen your resources. It gets easier over time. Your first placement is going to be the hardest, but avoid having a large running cost. Yeah, spend what you want, spend what you think is right. Yeah, and just don't have a massive running cost. Yeah. The other thing that I see people make is, I'll give you an example. Over time, people have booked calls with me on the coaching calls, and they've said, "I've followed your method, hasn't worked, or it's not been as effective as I presumed it would be." And we delve into it, and I just take their presumption that they followed everything accordingly. And then they turn around and say, "Oh, can I send you my template?" I said, "Your template is a bit long, doesn't get to the point, probably goes into spam, you're not using the right methods, etc." So, my template's on my website, which is in the description. Do look through that, copy them, use it how you want, edit it, etc. Short and sweet gets more replies. That's the bottom line. Yeah. I saw you're recruiting for a HR manager. Do you need agency support? That's it. That's all you need to say. After that, they will have their questions. Yeah. Straight to the point. They will read guaranteed the whole thing. If you send a 4 or 5 paragraph email about, hello, this is me, this is what I do, no one cares. You've got a problem, I can fix it. Do you want help? That's it. That's what I want to do. Afterwards, companies will start to say to you, what do you recruit for? How much do you charge? Yeah? What markets do you cover? Etc. If they're interested, they'll come back to you. You don't need to say it from the offset. It's a bad sales technique. It doesn't work, and that's one of the reasons people don't win business. Yeah, there is no, I mean, use my templates, but there is no number one template magic formula that works for everyone. I just said people don't like long emails. That's my presumption. That's from my data over years, and testament to my business. I can say categorically, smaller, shorter emails, straight to the point, do better. There is no one secret email. Believe me, I've looked for it. Some people like the detailed emails, some people don't. Yeah, so there is no one. You have to send different types to different companies, and sourcing emails, taking a lot of time on it, doesn't do too well as well. So make sure when you're sourcing emails, it's not, you're not spending all day sending 20, 30 emails. You need to build a quicker process for that. You should send 100 in about 6 hours, is how I see it, especially when you start off. If you're spending more than that, probably you're gonna not get the momentum you need. Yeah. Also, sending emails to the wrong people. Um, Over time, you and experience, you work out who is the right person in your sector to send it in. The general rule is go to the HR manager, talent acquisition manager, recruitment lead, recruitment manager. Starting off, that'll be the one. When you get more confident, you can go to directors. Some companies you can go straight to directors, small companies, but generally speaking, as a blanket rule, if you're starting off, just go to the HR manager. You'll start to hear from them. We don't deal with recruitment, you have to go to the director. But that is what they're for. They're human resources. They in charge of recruitment. And the last thing on that point regarding, email business development is people don't follow up. Money is in the follow up. I know that's a cheesy sales phrase, but the money is in the follow up. I mean, I've emailed companies 29 times before, and then they come back and they didn't say, we've got 29 of your last emails. They said, actually, here's the jobs we need help with. It's all about timing. It's so important. Yeah. And the other thing is, people make the mistake of only doing one thing. Oh, I get asked the question of, oh, can I just use LinkedIn? Of course you can. Absolutely, you can just use LinkedIn. All of these work. It's just what worked for me, what was efficient for me, what still is. I mean, these are the ones I use for business development. Mainly it's this at the moment. Yeah, my emails always run in the background. LinkedIn, I don't do too much on because it's hard for me to monitor, and most people just use LinkedIn because it's the easiest out of them. Yeah, so the competition is higher. I spoke to a client Friday, and he said, I get tons of LinkedIn messages, I ignore them all, but I've responded to your email. And I was like, yeah, because he didn't see me, he saw me as a genuine person that wanted to reach out to him. And he's a big client. So he goes, I get all these LinkedIn messages all the time. Had a good chat, closed him as a client. He signed up on that day, and I've got quite a few positions I need to get to work to. It's 12:30, so yeah. Visiting them is going to work. You're going to speak to someone. They're going to tell you, oh, HR deal with that. It's not old school like it was. Some of these are more effective. Don't forget, if you're calling a director that respectfully is 60 years old, he doesn't want to faff about with emails. He wants to just call me, talk to me. That's what he wants. Yeah? So knowing your person, if it's someone that's, are millennials or a certain age, they might just want the email. Yeah? What are you recruiting for? Let me do the research on your company and I'll get back to you if we're interested. Yeah? Cold calls, they work and they don't. Yeah? Emails, some people think it's just a generic email from another company. All of them have advantages and disadvantages. There is no one thing that works and the other one doesn't. Use them all or use them one. Whatever works for you, you're going to win business from them regardless. Yeah? Always remember, it's more about who you call rather than who you speak to, who you email, rather than if it's the right method. It's the person you're getting in touch with. Yeah? The decision maker. Lastly, I want you all to dream big. Some people think it's not going to work for them. Yeah? Some people say, I remember when I started recruitment, I thought to myself, how the hell am I ever going to make a placement, let alone win a client? I thought, this ain't for me. I can't do it. That's my first day. I was like, I'm never going to get a placement. And look at me now. But it's easier than you think. Spoke to someone the other day on a coaching call. He's had a few calls. I think he's on 19 grand he made in 3 months. Yeah? Part time, by the way. And he said it's the same thing to me. Like, I don't think, oh, how long is it going to take me to make a placement? Probably 6 months, I said. 3 months. Could be a first month. It took him 3 months and he's invoiced that, 20,000 plus interviews on top. And he's a student, so he's doing it very part-time. Follow my videos on YouTube. I put out so much content. Some of them will be relevant now, some of them will be relevant later on. Yeah, recruitment is certainly not as competitive as you think. It's saturated, but it's not competitive. There's no one good out there. There's no one that it springs to mind, and I think that is an amazing recruiter. Oh, I'm scared if I go against him or her or that company. It's just a free for all. The companies, like, you think Hayes and Reed, you're competing with them. Actually, they're competing with themselves. They've got a team of 12 people all operating in the same area, trying to recruit the same type of people. They're competing with themselves. The individual recruiters do well in this market, especially now. They're going to do even better, actually. Yeah. A placement will come also quicker than you think. It's not going to take as long. Potentially, you could make a placement in the first few weeks. And obviously, not promising because I don't know what's going to happen for you. But I mean, first few days you can pick up clients. If you can get a candidate within a few hours, they've got their interview in the next day. I've picked up a client in the morning, sent someone for an interview in the afternoon, and made the placement, and they started the next day. It was like an 8-hour placement. Yeah. Sometimes it takes ages, sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. It's like every other business. The recruitment is not a get rich quick scheme, although you can get rich very quick. But it's not a scheme where you're going to make £100,000 in your first month. To build a business like that sustainably, it's going to take you maybe a few years. If you can make 100 grand in the first few months, very good. Hats off to you. Call me. I want to know how you done it. If you get to the second year, you're probably going to have those 50, 80,000 pound months. You might have staff working for you. Typically, most people start hiring staff after the 4th or 6th month, if they're doing well, because you will need the help, and it's more profitable for you to do that. Yeah. The main bit of money, I've coached people and myself, probably over 300-400 people on those coaching calls I've done. Yeah, probably a bit more actually. Most of them do calls with me regularly, every few weeks, few months. Yeah, the main money is made on the 8th and 10th month. So your third quarter is when you really start to see everything goes well. You've got all the job boards, you've got good resources, you've got regular clients. That's when your money starts to be like, okay, wow, I made 26 grand this month profit. And it wasn't as hard as when I started, because I've got all the candidates. The clients call me, they say, oh, Cads, can you find this person for me? Let me know if you've got any good CVs, etc. Yeah. Another thing is people give up after a bad month. Yeah. It's very easy to make money in recruitment, but it's very hard to get yourself out of recruitment when it's down. For the first 6 to 7 months, you're probably going to have some bad months. So you're going to have 1 month, you're going to start off, nothing happens. Second month, wow, I got 3 interviews and I made 2 placements. So I invoiced £8,000. Okay, next month, I don't have any clients, so I'm trying to do business development. You don't make any placements. You think, oh, forget it, I give up. It's not for me. Yeah. So keep going through those months. It'll be an emotional roller coaster, but you can do it. And last thing is, remember to pay your taxes. If you make £10,000, you owe tax. Yeah. So remember to pay your taxes. Don't get caught in that, and don't blow your money. I've had people make a £10,000 placement and buy a BMW, and they're still at stage 1. You need to make your life easier with that. So I hope you found some value in this. Any questions, let me know. I'm always here if you need help, and I've got more videos coming. Check out the description for all the links that you need. Take care.